Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. A great day when our friends from Lead San Diego are in the house, and that is what is happening today. We got Veronica Parandi, Executive Director. How you doing there, Veronica?
I'm doing great today. Thank you.
Always good to see you. Joined by the board chair of Lead San Diego, Nancy Roland Heinrich. She's also an EVP at National University, frequent guest on the Spotlight show, major league community leader, and I'm honored to say I've known Nancy for, I'll say, several decades. How's that, Nancy?
Sounds perfect. Thank you, Drew.
Of course, joined by my co-host, Kristen Blake. She's a PR and community affairs consultant. How you doing, Kristen?
I'm great. Good morning, everyone.
You must have liked the first time because you came back, right?
I'm here again.
All right, very good. We'll start with you on this, Veronica. What's the mission of Lead?
Yes. So Lead San Diego is the leadership development arm of the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce. And we aim to create a network of leaders equipped with skills, insight, and passion needed to work collaboratively across industries and issues to positively transform their community and country.
Yeah, you can't walk by more than 10 feet and not find somebody in San Diego, especially a community leader that has not gone through Lead, doesn't know about Lead, hasn't presented at Lead, and so forth. It's like a 1 degree of separation. Kristen, have you ever heard about Lead San Diego?
I have, actually. I, living in San Diego for 5 years, I've met a few executives that also have participated in Lead, so...
Right, exactly. So you got a question for right out of the gate for Veronica.
Can you tell us a little bit about the upcoming Visionary Awards? I believe are in September this year. Yeah.
So our Visionary Awards is our annual recognition award for visionary leaders in San Diego. This year it's happening on Wednesday, September 17th. It's going to be taking place at the same location as last year. So Humphreys by the Bay Concert Lawn. It's an absolutely beautiful venue. It's a great way to take advantage of the weather of that time of year and just be outside and do the thing that everyone loves most about Lead, which is network and obviously celebrate our leaders in the community. Yeah,
they've been doing this for quite a while. Nancy, you have sat on many boards, Classroom in the Future be one, a little prejudice on that as a chair, and you're chairing this one. What makes Lead so special?
Well, I've been involved with Lead since the late 90s, and from the original impact class of 2000, it is something that I really wanted to participate in, more so than some other types of professional development, because I truly believe that leaders have to be in and of the community. And if you look at the alumni network affiliated with Lead, almost every significant, lots of CEOs, lots of senior executives, a lot of our elected officials are Lead graduates. And it gives people the opportunity, since we have a lot of transplants, a lot of people that are from other parts of the country, it instantly gives them an opportunity to understand more about the community, especially some of the more unique sectors, being a binational region, being a very heavy focus on military, some of those types of things. So it really makes a difference. And then, when we also have people that have moved up within their organization, they may think they know everything about the region, but there has never been a person that has gone through Lead who hasn't felt like this was one of the best experiences that I've ever had, because they learned so much.
I actually have a good story on that. So
Please.
Kimberly Layton is on our board. She went through Impact Program in 1995, and she just recently joined our board within the past year or two. She went through Influence this year, 2025, so exactly 30 years later. And on the last day, we were walking back from doing our tour of the USS Essex, and she was just raving. She's like, I thought I knew San Diego. Oh my gosh, I learned so much, and it's so interesting to see the difference from 1995 to 2005. And so someone like her, who's been so involved in the community in both of her roles, both with the Chargers and now with the San Diego Food Bank, to be able to see San Diego from a different perspective and then see the transition and how the growth has been from 1995, what LEAD presented in Impact, and then what we presented in Influence in 2025.
There's no question, a great example with Kimberly on this. And something else that you folks know so well, Veronica and Nancy, and it's in the DNA of Lead San Diego. It's a sisterhood and a brotherhood. And that makes a difference. Anybody who's been involved in the community, and you're fully aware of this too, Kristen, know when you've made a contact with somebody, whether it's in 1995 or now Kimberly, in recent years, and then you come across them at any other business deal. God, I remember you. Weren't you in the lead class of X and we worked on where that nonprofit, we'll get to that in a second about how you tied to the nonprofits. And it makes a difference with business because it's all about relationships. You guys know this. That's how important that is. Nancy, you've been doing this for many, many years at National, and Lead San Diego, pretty much attached at the hip. Talk about that.
Well, National's been involved because my involvement originally since the late 90s. And we have hosted LEAD. We have been involved with LEAD. We've sent a number of our mid-level managers through the Impact program. We have had our former chancellor, our current president, Mark Milliron, go through Influence. And we just feel that it's a really important connecting point because higher education is also an integral part of the community. So all of the higher education institutions are very supportive of Lead San Diego. And, I know that for our current president, before he started, I said, you're taking 3 days in March to go through this LEAD program. It's like, I'll be new to the job. And he will to this day say that was the most important 3 days because he connected with key executives from every industry in that period.
Well, he literally hit the ground at a full sprint, because of a LEAD. We're chatting with Veronica Parandi. She's the executive director of LEAD San Diego, joined by her board chair, Nancy Roland Heinrich, also an EVP at National University. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in the community, food insecurity, financial literacy, art, and everything in between. Joined by my co-host, Kristen Blake. She is a PR and community affairs consultant. Kristen, another question for Veronica.
Hi, Veronica. So I have really enjoyed so far learning about LEAD and the different facets that you touch. If you could share a little bit about the Neil Morgan Memorial Award for Lifetime Achievement and share some more information on that.
Nancy, do you want to talk about who's receiving the Neil Morgan Memorial Award of Lifetime Achievement this year? So I am obviously new to this role, a little bit younger in the community. And who we're awarding the award to this year is just a cornerstone of San Diego leadership.
Yes, I'm happy to. That is one of the most prestigious awards that someone in the community can receive. And it's exceptionally special this year because it is for lifetime achievement. And San Diego lost a treasure this year. Walt Eckert was the former county of San Diego Chief Administrative Officer, and he just passed away on April 25th. And our nominating committee, we just wish he were here to be able to know that posthumously he is receiving this exceptional award for lifetime achievement. But he was the COO as well for the County of San Diego starting in 2013. And people are just touched from all aspects of the community because he was one of San Diego's strongest leaders. So it really means a lot for someone to be able to receive a lifetime achievement. And in this case, we didn't want to miss out on the opportunity to recognize someone that had touched so many people's lives and truly made San Diego County a better community.
Yeah, I want to brag a little bit about this. So it's the Neil Morgan Award. I worked with Neil for many, many years at the San Diego Union Tribune, and Neil was an editor of the Tribune, and then we merged. And Neil was absolutely relentless in his passion for Lead San Diego. And I've been honored to actually present that award back in the day, and also the Herb Klein Award, who I worked with as well. And I'm really proud of the fact that the UT had been such an advocate for Lead San Diego and got the word out quite a bit. So the this is so appropriate with Walt. I'm thrilled about this one. He's a great guy. We work really closely with him. Veronica, talk about the lead graduate of the year.
Yeah, so lead graduate of the year is really selecting a graduate of one of any three of our programs or any of our programs over the years that really embodies what LEAD wants to do in the community. Be a leader, not just in their organization, but be a leader out in with nonprofits, with commissions. And Jim Grooney really embodies that. He is the community liaison officer for the Marine Corps Recruit Depot here in San Diego. And you see him everywhere. Like his job is to bridge the relationship between the Marines and San Diego. You know, as a native San Diego, you often just drive by the bases and you don't really know what's going on behind those fences. And Jim does a really great job of advocating not just for the Marine community, but for the entire military community here in San Diego.
And he's got a very important job because he has access to Bruno, which is the mascot of the Marine Corps. Yes, exactly. I think we had more hits on our, my associate producer saying yes, on our special broadcast over at MCRD when Bruno was actually sitting in the chair with headsets on and did a great job and was squeaking away during the interview. Another person, maybe Nancy, you can address this, or Veronica, you too, the Innovation and Economic Opportunity Award.
Oh, this is a really important award. Last year, it went to Mark Neville, the CEO of Sports San Diego, and this year, a very deserving person, Dr. Ellen Neufeld, who's president of CSU San Marcos. And San Marcos has just really made a difference in North San Diego County. In fact, I was at a function last night with Ellen, and she is the fourth president of CSU San Marcos. And I drove by again last night, and I remember seeing, when that used to be basically agricultural land and a chicken farm. And that is such a robust university. I believe they're one of the fastest growing CSUs in the entire state. And they have worked so well with the military community, with the business community. They just broke ground on another, new building. And truly, CSU San Marcos has a very strong presence in the community, and not just in North County, but in South County as well. But well-deserved. Ellen Neufeld is a great higher education leader, and all of us in higher education work closely together. So huge advocate for her in this wonderful honoree.
Phenomenal, yeah. And Kristen, Cal State University San Marcos is the poster child for social mobility. Mm-hmm. They constantly ranked number one on this. So Veronica, who's our Ron Kendrick Memorial Award winner?
So this one's a very special one for me. She's been a mentor to me and a supporter of me over the past year and a half in this role. So Carrie Rebecca Capich, she's a Chief Operating Officer of the San Diego Tourism Authority. She is also a former LEAD board chair, so she's been involved in LEAD for quite some time. And her leadership, truly, you don't necessarily see her out there, but you've seen her work and her influence. She has really shaped San Diego into one of the most dynamic and community-minded destinations in the country. And she helped earn San Diego being the highest ranking ever as the number 2 city in the U.S. by Condé Nast Traveler. And also, you just see the impact of the work that the San Diego Tourism Authority does, not just for bringing people to San Diego, but for creating experiences and opportunities to enjoy San Diego for natives like myself.
Absolutely. So, Nance, talk about the Chuck Nathanson Award winner.
Well, that's another very special one because we're a binational region. LEAD has honored someone for cross-border region building the last several years, and no one more appropriate than Dr. Mark Sanchez, the superintendent and president of Southwestern College. All of the higher education institutions work closely with him, but again, they are serving a lot of first-generation students. Southwestern College is just doing so well, really high transfer rates and things. And they now have their new on-site programs and their college center. Arizona State has recently joined them. I believe National University will be joining them soon. And he's worked very closely with David Alvarez. And Assemblymember Alvarez has been very instrumental in the successful passage of Assembly Bill 91, which grants near-border students in-state tuition. And because Southwestern is within, I think they make it by just a couple of miles in order to be able to do that for our interested higher education students just south of the border, which is fabulous. But he is, again, very active in the community and considered to be one of the strongest community college presidents in the state. And we have, I believe, 116 community colleges, but he really is a poster child for promoting cross-border collaboration.
Yeah, before we go, take a quick break, Veronica, the event again is September 17th. Is it sold out?
No, there are still tickets and sponsorship opportunities available. And what it can also be for our several alumni of the program is an impromptu reunion. So if you're from class 1995 and you want to get together with your cohort from our flagship program back then, we invite everyone to join their cohort mates and their alumni and join us for the Visionary Awards on September 17th.
Yeah, it'll be 5 to 8 o'clock at Humphreys by the Bay. Just a beautiful setting as well. When we come back from break, we're going to talk about the importance of community leadership programs and something that's near and dear to my heart. I've been involved with LEAD for 1 billion years because I'm old and feeble, that's why, but the Leadership Action Team projects. We'll chat about that. And Veronica, as you know, Nancy knows as well, and Kristen is starting to learn, we always ask our guests, what can our readers do to support your efforts? Certainly go to the events, contribute and so forth. When we return with Veronica Ferrandi, she is the Executive Director of LEAD San Diego, joined by her board chair, Nancy Rowland Heinrich, also a huge community leader and EVP of National University. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, the nation's longest running community podcast in its 19th year, brought to you by the fine folks of Mission Fed Credit Union. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you with Mission Fed Credit Union, one of our favorite guests and frequent guests, and we're going to have them on as many times as they say yes, is LEAD San Diego, joined by Veronica Ferrandi. She is the Executive Director of the organization, joined by her board chair, Nancy Rowland Heinrich. I'm thrilled to have back in the studio with me my co-host and Kristen Blake. She's PR and Community Affairs consultant. Kristen?
So Veronica and Nancy, we've just been sharing this wonderful information about these leaders being honored at your September 17th Visionary Awards event and the incredible work they're doing in the community. So on the topic of community, if you can share some of information on the importance of your community leadership program.
So that's actually what LEAD is. It is a community leadership program. And the idea of these types of programs were established in the 50s and 70s. And LEAD itself was established in 1981. They were officially founded in 1982 with our first graduating class in 1983. But the idea of community leadership programs are about building leadership that communities need to thrive. So they connect people across sectors, industries, perspectives, and they create a network, which we talk of often, of leaders who understand their community's unique challenges and opportunities. And these programs are really rooted in the community. We bring leaders from the industries that are driving our region, and it allows the participants to understand the communities in which they serve so they can address local priorities and industries that are relevant to doing business here in San Diego. And one of the core strengths of community leadership programs, which I think is just so important right now, is leading across differences. These participants gain the ability to recognize the limits of their own perspective, and they develop the capacity to listen to learn and to adapt. And so these participants build relationships that can last way beyond the program. I can tell you, and Drew, you've shared this, when I meet someone like, oh, I'm class from 1995, and I still get together with my cohort from that year. But what this does is these relationships, again, extend beyond the program. They create networks that you can mobilize as a leader in times of crisis and in times of opportunity, which just allows them to better serve our binational region. And this, again, in this time and in this climate, it's really important that we encourage the citizen engagement and this common ground building, because these programs really lay the foundation for a healthier civic discourse.
Well, there's no question that a great antidote for what's going on in this crazy world of ours, when the concept of empathy went by the way the dodo bird, is Lead San Diego, because we don't care what you look like, how you act, what party you're involved in, it doesn't make a difference. We're all here for the common good, and most people want the same thing. They want to be happy and healthy and work with folks. It's a no-brainer. Sometimes you lose track of that. Something I think that's so cool. I'm going to start with you, Nancy, and then have you add to it, Veronica. I love this, the Leadership Action Team, projects that come out of Impact. Talk about that, Nancy.
Happy to do so. And that's something that when I went through Impact in 2000, we had theme days where I was on transportation, and we still have not quite resolved some of those things we proposed in 2000. But for, at least the last decade, one of the key aspects, the highlight for those students participating in Impact is the Leadership Action Teams. And what that is local nonprofit organizations are able to receive basically consulting from the lead students that are in the Impact program, and the ability to work with some of these nonprofits who may have limited capacity and resources and experience. Just amazing projects are completed through that. And some of the past partners from that would include, for instance, Oncology and Kids. And they created an alumni program. And from the LAT this year with the Lead Action Team, we were able to have 3 30-second PSAs developed for the Children's Museum of Discovery. And just another example of how the interaction between the nonprofit and the leadership action teams through the Impact program truly makes a difference. And what happens is a lot of times some of those participants in Impact will end up serving on the board, will end up, trying to support those organizations in other ways. And it really is important. Other projects, by the way, if anyone is interested in submitting to be a nonprofit, the deadline is September 5th. So right now we have its opportunity to submit a proposal to have a nonprofit organization be considered for the Lead Action Team. Other projects include a 3-year roadmap for board governance update and a complete business strategy revamp. And, it just is really important. Please look at the Lead website for the RFP, and we really encourage nonprofits to apply. It really has made a difference. Just so impressive when I went to the Impact graduation this year, which was held at National University, and to hear the amount of work that these teams of basically 10 people put for each of the 5 nonprofits, it just was amazing in that short period of time, how they were able to help elevate that organization to the next level.
Yeah, there's no question about that. We're chatting with Veronica Prandi, Executive Director of Lead San Diego, joined by her board chair, Nancy Roland Heinrich. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. With me is my co-host, Kristen Blake, a PR and community affairs, consultant. I think what's so cool about this, we call this Connectivity Capital on our show. You mentioned the Children's Museum of Discovery. They're going to be coming up as guests right following you.
So we're
we're gonna have Christina coming on as well. One of the reasons why we're gonna feature you folks a minimum of once a quarter, and I think I might have shared with before, there's way too much content about Lead San Diego to try to get in 127-minute interview. We talked about the impact class. You also have an advanced class and influence and so forth. But I can't emphasize enough, Nancy made reference to it. First of all, you got a great website. It's got so much content of how you can get engaged in this. But maybe you can think about this, Veronica. What can our listeners do to support Lead San Diego? Volunteer, contribute, donate. What can they do?
Yes.
Yes and yes and yes. Yes times
more.
Yes times 10.
One of the things that we also talk about is LEAD is known in the circle of those who know LEAD. It is community leadership programs are kind of a best kept secret of each community. And once you discover the network of what these programs can do, not just for you, but for your community, they open up so many opportunities for everyone. So for those who you are listening, promote LEAD, share an opportunity, not just participating in the program, share what LEAD can do for our nonprofits. And then also, we are always looking for content, new issues to address. We want to be at the forefront of what's happening in San Diego. So there are new industries, new issues, new leaders that LEAD should be sharing with 50 community leaders that are going to be influencing their organizations and their work. Share that with us. I'm always looking for new speakers, new places to tour, give behind the scenes access to the leaders, because these are the people who are going to be driving San Diego in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Nancy.
Oh, another area that we could certainly use support is for every organization, whether a small, mid-size, or large organization, to really identify those emerging leaders within your organization. And this is an opportunity for them to participate. So it's a wonderful professional development opportunity, especially anyone who will be externally facing within the organization and has a lot of potential, whether that's going through the impact program or going through, for instance, talented young women to go through the advanced program. But, that is another way. And hosting some of our events, like where we want people to see the whole county. We want them to see every industry. And this year, I think the biggest surprise for everyone, number one was, do you want to tell about with Republic?
Oh, yes. The best session that we had, we did a sustainability day down in Chula Vista and talked everything about energy sustainability and environmental issues. And Republic Services hosted us. And when people think about, I'm throwing something away, where's away? Well, we went to away. We went to their new Otay Sustainability Park and learned all about their organics and the processes that they're doing to really make trash in a sustainable way. And there's just a circular process that they have with collecting natural gas and how that's going to be powering their electric vehicles. And it was the highlight of the entire program. And so that's what's really special about LEAD is we take this idea and this concept, but then we bring you to the place where it's happening so you can see it actually taking place. And you learn so much more, not just about what's happening in your community, but specific things about you can learn and then change your habits. Because there's a lot of people that thought it was a dump, it was a hole, and they saw this really, honestly, beautiful location and learned a lot that could change their own actions.
No, it's a great example of what Lead San Diego can and will do. Remind everybody, there's still some seats available September 17th for the Visionary Awards, 5 to 8:30. It'll be a beautiful Humphreys by the Bay.
With an after party.
The after party, there you go. And so I encourage everyone to do it. And one, it supports a great organization, but it'll get you engaged in this. You can't help but go to that Visionary Awards and get all geeked up. Thank you in advance, Veronica and Nancy, for coming back in many more times. And we're just touching the surface with Lead San Diego, and you can't do it enough. There's just so many different opportunities. Wishing you nothing but great success on September 17 and everything else moving forward.
Thank you so much, Drew.
Absolutely.
Greatly appreciate the opportunity.
It's always our honor. Chatting with Veronica Prandi, Executive Director of Lead San Diego, Nancy Rowland Heinrich, the Board Chair, my co-host, Kristen Blake. Thank you very much, PR and Community Affairs Consultant. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast. In our 19th year, we're very proud of that. Brought to you by the very cool folks at Mission Fed Credit Union. 60 years plus of doing great things for people living in San Diego County. And to our listeners, we hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.